right, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a Twisted Pair, and I am Graybeard.
And I am Fine Ash Red. And today we have some amazing guests with us. So I want to introduce the queen of cigars, Miss Karen Berger. And if you have seen Don Kiki or K by Karen, you know who she is. And her right hand man is Mr. Bruce Busch. And he is her go to guy and in charge of the sales and everything, from my understanding, and is a phenomenal tour guide. Welcome to the Twisted Pair. We appreciate you so much taking the time out of y'all's busy schedule to join us.
Thank you so much for having us, having everybody a good night. It's really a pleasure to share some time with you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you also as well. I was just going to say, Karen and I are both in Florida right now. I'm in Tampa. She's over in Ormond Beach. So if like the lights go out or whatever, it's a hurricane. Don't worry about it.
Well, we won't be worried about it, here in Texas, but we will be concerned about for your guys' safety, and your guys' safety comes above all. And we appreciate you guys jumping on so much. I was looking back through history, as I'm looking back through some of our conversations, Karen, and you and I actually started talking about you coming on our show 1 year ago today.
Finally.
And so excited that you're here. Let's just kick this off with telling our viewers a little bit about Don Kiki. And Karen and I know the story. We know the story behind K by Karen's and the naming and how you came up with it. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think that really sets the stage for who you are and who you represent and who your cigar company is.
Okay, so many people know. So we have more than 25 years in the cigar industry. So I started working in a cigar factory. I met Don Kiki. I was married for 17 years. He passed away almost 9 years ago. So since he passed, one of my compromise with myself, with the people who work in the factory, with my family, is to keep his name and his legacy alive. As well, we had the brand of Don Kiki. Don Kiki introduced in the market in the 90s, 4 original blend of Don Kiki. Fine Ice Red is a smoking Don Kiki Gold label, which is one of my favorite cigars, rating 91, Cigar Journal magazine. So that's how I started in the business. At the beginning, representing only the Don Kiki brand in the market. For me, Don Kiki, the original blends, and then the new blends that we have seen 2017 to 2007 are beautiful brands, are beautiful cigar. We had Don Kiki Platinum as well, Don Kiki Gold label. Don Kiki Platinum won the best cigar of the year in 2017 with the number 18 in the top 18. So then we decided to bring something new at the market. So we started working with the K by Karen Berger. The K representing is the name of Don Kiki. So represented, which is the middle name for Henry. So the idea was
nickname.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, nickname.
And thank you, Bruce. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So really proud with everything that we are doing in the industry right now. We are working really hard. So 2 years ago, I met Mr. Bruce Busch, and the company has growing and it's growing very, very fast. So we are really proud that we are a representation in different states of United States. So it's a lot of stores retail stores that are support us or brands, Don Kiki as well, K by Karen Berger. So we are open international market, Europe. We are really, really excited. We are really proud with everything as a small company. So we are doing really good things. We are really proud of everything that we represent with our cigars. So we are focused and to bring to people quality and to bring amazing cigar, very flavorful. We had our portfolio is pretty big, so we had different strain for different palettes. So everybody, thanks God, everybody that try our cigar, they fell in love with the cigar. We are really proud about that.
It's amazing. Well, so speaking of palate, I jumped in right in and forgot to even mention that I think I'm fanboying here for a minute. I don't know.
And I'm like,
Yes, I see that. So what are we pairing tonight? So which cigars are we smoking and drinking with tonight? So going to start off with the lovely Karen.
I am smoking our new cigar, which introduced in the PCA this year, which is the K by Karen Berger 25th anniversary. We are celebrating with that cigar, 25 in the cigar industry of Don Kiki, as well. My person is a collaboration with Mr. AJ Fernandez. It's a limited edition cigar. It's a Connecticut broadleaf. The binder is Mexico San Andres, and the filler is coming from my farm as well, AJ Farms. It's a full body cigar, but as well, this cigar will be amazing to smoke as your morning cigar. I am 100% that doesn't bother you if you smoke it. And today I'm pairing my K by Karen Berger anniversary with a Coca-Cola.
Awesome. Bruce?
I am smoking the K by Karen Berger Habano, which is kind of an interesting story for me because originally when I met Karen, I met Chip, the general manager of the store in Daytona Beach. And I originally spoke to Connecticut. So the K by Karen Berger Connecticut was a cigar that I fell in love with. And that was one like, oh my God, right? And then I spoke to Don Kiki Platinum, like, oh my God. And then I came back to Tampa, and Karen gave me like 10 free cigars. I smoked with my friends. We were like, oh my God, these are amazing. But I never smoked the Habano. And then I was like, this is the one cigar out of Karen's portfolio I really haven't tried yet, you know? So I started smoking it. This is my favorite cigar in the world. If I was on a desert island and I had no other cigars, I'd want a humidor with 100K Habanos in it. And on the other side of me, I would want a cooler with about 100 pale ales in it. Because the hops in a pale ale, subdued with the Sierra Nevada pale ale, or if you want to go bigger with the IPA, go really well with the Habano. The peatiness and the earthiness and the citrus finish on the cigar just go splendidly with the hops. So that's kind of where I'm at with my pairing.
so, and you, like you were saying, you're a man after my own heart because I love my craft beers. I love my IPAs, and they go phenomenal with a Habano. And a lot of people don't think that it would go, and they're kind of nervous to try those pale ales, but they do fantastic with pairings with the cigars in Honduras. So I am smoking the Don Kiki Gold right here, and I am pairing it with my Napa Valley red wine, and it is bread and butter. So I'm excited about this because I think this is going to be a really good, go well together. So great beer.
Well, I as well am smoking the 25th anniversary. And when I saw that you were doing a collaboration with AJ, I was just so excited because, as everybody here knows, AJ is one of my top 5 blenders around. I mean, everything that he touches is magic. And Karen, I'm adding you into that category. Everything that you touch is magic because before I got,
I was going to say, Dave, she better be in that top. She better be in that top 5, dude. Or I'm going to go to Texas and light your beard on fire.
Well, You might have to get a step ladder to be able to do that, Bruce. But come on. But no, Karen. So yeah, you're in my top five right there with AJ and with Luciano and with EP Carrillo and with
That's not coming.
the My Father family.
Thank you. Thank
So
you. Really appreciate
Yes.
that. Thank you.
now
Yes.
I gotta say, up until smoking this cigar, there at MC Cigars down in Florida, just outside of Tampa, and I paired that cigar with a Cigar City Maduro stout,
Solid.
and phenomenal pairing, solid. It was absolutely beautiful pairing. The way the chocolate notes just matched each other, it was just amazing. But up until I smoked this cigar, your Cameroon was my favorite.
I love the Cameroon as well.
And oh, go ahead.
So
Well,
I am
I think
actually paired this with a rye now. So I'm pairing
Rye.
this with
Ooh.
with the Willett family rye, and so my reasoning for pairing
Mhm.
it with the rye was because of the Connecticut broadleaf, and I wanted to bring out some of those sweeter notes and some of those earthier notes with the rye, and then also allowing the rye to bring out some of the sweeter notes as opposed to the chocolatier notes from the San Andres.
So I do have a question for Karen because we're talking about blending, and she kind of gave us a little bit of a back history of who she is and how long she's been in this industry. So, what was the first cigar that you blended? What was the
My first
first one?
cigar was the K by Karen Berger, the Don Kiki Platinum.
Okay.
The
Ooh.
Don
Very,
Kiki
very.
Platinum.
I
Yeah.
was going to correct you, Karen. It was a Don Kiki Platinum. I was going to correct you.
It was Don Kiki Platinum. So the last blend that Don Kiki made was the Don Kiki Gold label, but he doesn't have the opportunity to introduce in the market. So my first PCA alone was in New Orleans, 2014, 2015. That's the time that we introduced the Don Kiki Gold label. Then I started working in blending, which is the part that I enjoy more. So many people ask me,
Ah,
I love the cigar industry. But for me, being in the factory, being in Esteli, where I born and raised in Esteli, and being in the factory working is the most beautiful thing for me in life. So had the opportunity to create something and to bring to the market, and it's really hard at that time because I am not thinking about the thing that I like. I thinking as well having a retail store helped me a lot because I hear a lot of opinions, a lot of advice from my customer, my friends. So help me a lot. And for me, my first experience to create a particular blend, I feel really proud of Don Kiki Platinum. So can you imagine my first blend was in the top 25 as the best cigar. So for me was oh
that's
my God, that was a
awesome.
goal.
Yes, yes.
And
So
I just smoked that cigar just this past weekend, and I just did a blind grab in my humidor and pulled it out. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna smoke it, and I'm playing poker at one of our local shops. So we're playing poker, and that particular hand that I lit up on it, I got a straight flush, and so took the table, and I was like, all right, good cigar.
it is. It is. Is that a Piraga from Brazil? It's a medium body cigar, and as I say, in the particular line of Don Kiki Platinum was my first love and everything. But I am the kind of person that all the cigar are good. All the cigar, if it's good for your palate, all the cigar are good. But in my personal experience, so sometimes I get one cigar, I don't left that cigar. For example, I was in Europe in Intertabac in September and November. All September I was smoking only Don Kiki Gold label, and only Don Kiki Gold label. And then a couple of months ago, I was only smoking the K by Berger Habano, the Lancero, which is as well one of my favorite. But
Yeah.
yes, that was my first cigar, my first experience. That blend give me the strength to keep working, blending cigar, and I think that until now we are doing a great job. I had amazing thing in Nicaragua. I had Don Francisco Gutierrez, which is the boss, the production of the boss of production area. So with him and a couple more workers, so we work and to bring new blends to the market. Yes, it's a really hard work, but I think that everything that we are doing until now have been something with a lot of work, with a lot of sacrifice, passion, and love.
Can I interject here, guys?
Yes.
Let me interject,
please.
Ash Red, real quick here.
Yes.
So let's talk about the gold and the platinum for a second. So the presentation of those cigars is beautiful. Yeah, I was in Lafayette, Indiana by Purdue, and I did an event there. And this guy, Mark, that owns the store, guy's brilliant, right? I got some funny shit to tell you about him, right? But he said, you know what the Don Kiki Gold and Platinum are? They're the Don Kiki Metallic series because they both have a metallic band on them, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go with that. Yeah, the Don
and
Kiki Metallic. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
and the second band, which is in the bottom of the cigar, has the year 1957, which is the year that when Don Kiki born.
Is your
wow.
I did not know that. No.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
like you really have to look at it because it is that metallic-y shining, but when you hold it up to the light, it says Don Kiki 1957.
Yes.
That is very awesome.
Yes, it's the year.
Karen, you never told me that. I did not know that. So let me finish off on the gold and platinum real quick. So the metallic series, the gold and the platinum, that's the handoff from Don Kiki to Karen, right? So the gold was the last cigar that Kiki blended. The platinum was the first one that Karen blended, right? So the gold, I call that, I have two nicknames for it. Number one is Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, because Beethoven never heard his Ninth Symphony. He just played it, and then he passed away. So that is Don Kiki's Ninth Symphony, because he made it and never really saw it go to market. Karen brought it to the market, right? And then with the Don Kiki Platinum, that's Karen's first, and that was a smashing success. So the cool thing about those cigars, let's talk about those in the Toro size, okay? In the Toro size, the gold usually retails for about $8.50 a cigar. The platinum retails for about $9.50 a cigar. Now you could be in New York or Utah or California where there's higher prices, taxes and whatnot. But generally speaking, it's a pretty cost-effective cigar. You know, it's very price-worthy. So you're getting an incredible bang for the buck. And with gold, the notes in it are hickory and mesquite. So I just got back from Tennessee and Indiana. In Tennessee, we sold out the Don. And and it's amazing because it pairs so well with bourbon, you know. And the platinum, which is the same wrapper but a different blend, that's got more vegetal, more of a spice, a little bit more body to it. And that cigar is phenomenal in its own right. So that was the handoff from Kiki to Karen, the gold, platinum, metallic series.
Well, and I kind of want to bring up what she said, because like when I first saw, and I actually, she sat down and explained this to me, and I thought it was just the most beautiful story, because you and Don Kiki, y'all have the most beautiful love story and things that you talked about. And I always thought the K was for Karen, and kind of like what you said earlier. And then another thing that I love that you incorporated with him, and then you kind of passed it through to your cigars, is the crown.
Yes.
And that is, and then you have that gold color that is through all of them. So it's like you on your own, but you're carrying him with you in spirit. And to me, that is just beyond beautiful. And I just love that. And I don't think a lot of people realize that the K stands for Kiki. And I'm so glad that you brought that up tonight.
Yeah. And as well, the crown is not because I am the queen. The crown belongs to the original blend of Don Kiki. So I bring the crown and I bring the K too as well.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So hey, Graybeard, Dave, let me ask you. What does Don stand for? We talked about that in Tampa. What is Don?
Well, see, that's exactly what I was just about to bring up, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember when we were driving along, I thought that Don was his first name.
It's a title
no, you guys know
upon someone. You bestow upon someone that you highly regard and has a lot of knowledge. It's like the Godfather.
That's what I
very
learned.
Very good, Ashred.
From Bruce. I learned that. So the crown fits with that. And that's what I love about this story, because while this is yours, this is your heritage now, but you're paying honor back to your husband as well, and carrying his heritage through it all, and it's creating a beautiful story. And one of the things that we've always talked about is that every single cigar, just like for me and the whiskey and on the wine side, every single cigar has a story. Every single wine has a story. Every single whiskey has a story, and I love the story behind this.
And so, and I just wanted to bring that, and I think it's really neat because he's like the Godfather, and here she is, the Queen. So it's just it comes full circle. I think it's a beautiful story that comes full circle. And we talk about the stories behind cigars, and a lot of times we don't realize it, but then when you find out the story, it even becomes more special.
It is.
It really does. It really does.
Today, Facebook, always when you post something, Facebook bring the memories. So I didn't know that. I forget that today, November 9, 2006, we were in Fort Myers with Don Kiki. So that day, one day as today in 2006, we are in Fort Myers and the hospital. That hospital, where is the place when I give to Don Kiki one of my kidney. Yes, today, November 9, one day as today, 2006.
Wow.
And that's another beautiful story that a lot of people don't know is you were a perfect match. You said when he needed a kidney, you said, I want to try it. Can I please do that? And people were like, no, you may not be a match. And you were a perfect match. And it was like, okay, here's my kidney.
What a beautiful story. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Really, really proud that everything that we are doing to keep his memory alive. This guy, not many people doesn't know about him, but this guy was a big guy. When I met him, he was 380 pounds. You know why? Because the heart was too big. So can you imagine he need to be a big body to have, because he has a really big heart. So he deserved my kidney, my heart, my arms, my everything. He deserved my life. So this is one of the reasons, because yesterday, today, and tomorrow I will be working to keep his name alive.
Yes. And you're doing that.
And this is why we call you the Queen, not just because of what you've done in cigars. And my level of respect just grew multifold. And I'm sure he's looking down on you right now and saying, thank you for everything. I know he is.
Yeah, I've come to know Karen really well over the last 2.5 years. It's amazing. I can't believe that I've only known Karen 2.5 years, because Karen and I we're like best friends now. We talk to each other like every day, all the time. And if you ever get the chance to know Karen, to talk to her, she is the coolest, sweetest person you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, she would give you the shirt off her back. She'd do anything for anyone else. And I mean, I'm speaking out of ignorance here. I don't know if it's because she's generally that way, or did she watch Kiki over the years with his big heart, always helping other people out. And I think Karen takes a lot of that. She saw Kiki always helping others, always laying down his life for other people. And Karen does the same exact thing now. I mean, she is one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet in your life.
Yes. I had the privilege now where we got to sit, and she came to Addison. I don't know if she remembers this, but she came down to Addison. And
Of course.
it was a beautiful moment for me, because we sat there and we talked for about 4 hours. We talked about what it was like to be women in this industry, how we wanted to be classy women. And we talked about, you know, sometimes the struggle and sometimes the other things. We talked about what it was like to be a mom by ourselves, independently, rearing our children and how to be there for that. We talked about autism. We talked about waking up early in the morning and going bed to extremely late. And it was just, you know, she let me pick her brain about cigars. She told me about her love story. And I mean, it is one of the most beautiful moments that I've had, and I appreciate it so much.
You forget something. I'm a my. I had the way that you cook your brisket. So I am thinking one day to have the opportunity to try your brisket or your ribs. Oh my God.
I promise I will. I will come down and make it.
Just Karen, make sure that you get it right then and there, and she doesn't put it in the freezer, because if she does, you'll never get it. Thanksgiving last year, she put a plate in the freezer for me, and then pulled it out and threw it away about 6 months later.
Because I forgot about it, but I'll make it fresh for you. I'll make it fresh for you.
I still haven't had any yet, and you'll probably eat her fresh brisket and her burnt ends and her beer chicken before I get to. And I live 20 miles away from her. But you both bring up a good point, and I want to talk about this. And we talked a little bit about this on our show last week with Kevin. We had Kevin Shahan on our show last week. We talked a little bit about this, so I kind of want to touch a little bit on what kind of challenges did you face as a woman taking over. You know, yes, you and Don Kiki, married family, you both did this together, but you kind of took it over and you've made it into something big and something special. But what kind of challenges did you face as a woman?
You know, cigar industry is a male industry. Even that, as everybody know, 80% of people who produce, who make cigar are women working in a cigar factory. But I say the problem is not only in the cigar industry. The problem is in general. So always men has more how can I say, they are leader. Men are leaders. So for me, being representing a woman in the cigar industry has been a really difficult. You know, many people doesn't know that we had the same knowledge as a man. I had all the respect, so I follow different examples of big person in the cigar industry. But I think that until today, we had that kind of perception that we don't have the knowledge. So we are breaking a stereotype. So I think that I am really proud that the women's in the industry, we are growing more and more every day. So there are more women smoking cigar. There are more women as a manufacturer. So, but one of the biggest thing is at the beginning when Don Kiki passed, was a little afraid, you know, if I can do it. So it was really, really hard. But one of the things that pushed me is to see my family, to see my kids, to see all the people in the cigar factory that they depend of the thing that we do here to feed our family. So it was really hard at the beginning. But I always say nothing come easy. All the dreams later or soon they come through if you work hard if you had the passion, if you had the love, we are still working a lot to get the success that one day we want to have. It's really hard, but um, everything is little by little. I think that then everything has the balance of life has been a really kind of difficult. Being a mom, which is my priority, my family as well, heading the taking care of all the things, the factory as well, in my cigar store, having a lot of events. It's everything to have the balance, which is not very easy, but we are working on it, and I think that we are doing okay with all the things.
Well, and you have a wonderful team. You have a beautiful team. I haven't met Bruce in person, just only chatting and hearing Graybeard. But you have Brian here in Texas that I've met, and it seems your people, and Anya, your people, they and I'm going to brag about them because I've met a couple of them and talked with them, and they are so proud to work with you. They talk so highly about you, and they have so much respect and love, and it's like y'all are family, and y'all are willing to do things. And it seems sometimes you don't get that a lot, but it's echoed in all of their respects and sentimentals that they say about you. So
yes,
that says a lot.
Yes, I feel really blessed because nothing could be easy if I don't have an amazing team. But that for me, as you say, are part of my family. Only one example to give you, I had people in my factory working for me for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
The same people who has believed us that they believe in the company, they believe in the product. I am feel like that it is
that doesn't happen.
It is a family. So I had a lady, Carmen, who worked with us. I had a Don Francisco. Today, I received some pictures that Bruce sent it to me. I had a lady in the packing area. Her name is Rosita. Rosita has more than 15 years working for us. I tell Bruce, that's amazing. People that believe in you, people that work for you. Believe it or not, it's not my company. It's just our company. If the K by Karen Berger or Don Kiki cigar growing, as well, everybody who is part of the company grows as well too. Really blessed to have Bruce, to have everybody in the team. I am really thankful with everybody because it's not easy, representing some kind of brand. It's not easy, but I am really, really glad with all these wonderful, handsome guys and ladies too.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, you, and one thing that I loved was you just went to an event because you were talking about your event, and it was one thing that I've noticed that a lot of times that you do is you go back, I want to say, to the basics where you roll cigars. And it just like those pictures, just the joy of watching you roll it. It's just kind of, it's like almost looks peaceful, and like you make it look so easy. And I've heard it's very, very difficult. But what would you say is the hardest cigar to roll? I've heard Lancero, but I wanted to get it from you because you just make it look everything easy.
And Lancero is one of the most difficult cigar to produce, to bunching, as well to rolling cigar. The process is very easy, you can learn in about 15 days as well when you start in a cigar factory. So you are in a period to learn about rolling. So we are watching you and everything. I started in 2018 rolling cigar, and every time that I had the opportunity to have an event that they require me to roll in cigar, there are a lot of things coming to my mind, and it's a beautiful experience. As I say before, I don't say before, in Nicaragua, we don't have the culture to smoke cigar, but what thing that we are missing, when I start to working and I say, oh my God, I am rolling this. So what is the taste about that? You know, one day I had the opportunity for some problem that happened in the factory at that time. So at that time, I had the opportunity to smoke the cigar that I was rolling. And for me, the experience was, oh my God, everything, all the explosion of flavor. That's amazing, you know. The thing that you make with your hands is a hard work, you know. It's more than 300 people working to get the cigar that you're smoking today. You know, it's a lot of process since the seed to your hands. So could be 2 years at least to having a cigar in your hands. And it is a beautiful experience. And I love when every time that I do it, because remind me all my good times.
I know I've tried rolling a cigar once, and I want to try. I want to learn again, but I want to learn by going down to Nicaragua or to Dominican Republic, or just to one of the factories and just immerse myself in it and spend time to learn how to roll, how to blend, how to cut the cap and put the cap on it, how to uh, string the tobacco leaves and hang them up in the curing barn, or rotate the tobacco through the pilons, and just all of it. It's the whole process of it, and how much detail that has to be focused on throughout it all. I want to experience that firsthand.
Well, let me tell you guys
Bruce says
something
he's
with
you.
Karen. Yeah, I've seen Karen roll cigars, and I've seen her do like other other parts of the cigar making also. Like there was one time we were in we were at MC Cigars, Dave, where I took you in Tampa, right? And the guy John is a great friend of mine. Great shop, right? We're doing an event there December 2nd, by the way. And but anyways, when we were in that shop, the guy was in a bind. He had like 400 cigars, and he needed to put bands on them. And the guy that was going to put the bands on him couldn't show up. And my wife was making us dinner back at the house. And I was like, Karen, we have to leave in a half hour. And Karen's like, I got this. She took 400 bands with the glue and put them on the cigars. I mean, I was watching Karen's fingers, and my jaw like hit the ground. Like the amount of dexterity with nails, because she's a pretty woman, she's got nails and all that, right? With the amount of dexterity she had in her fingers with nails on, all that, putting all those bands on, I was like, I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, man, she's truly a master of every aspect of that cigar as it comes from the seed to your hands. And you don't get dexterity like that in your fingers overnight. That comes from years and years and years of training. So she's got the dexterity of like a David Blaine or a friggin' David Copperfield or something like that. I mean,
Wow.
What she could do with her fingers is absolutely amazing.
It took me 3 hours.
And she got it done in time for what y'all needed.
And it took me 3 hours. 3 hours with my daughter Morgan helping me put bands on our cigars, our last shipment and we just had 200. We didn't have 400. We had 200. It took me 3 hours to do that.
Let me know the next time if I am in the area, I can help you.
And we'll take you up on it.
Okay, so we got a question from another fellow cigar manufacturer that we've had on our show, and this is from Greg Free, and he asks, "What is the next phase for your business? Any big plans?"
Well, we are working in a lot of projects right now. Our new blend is coming for next year for July PCI, but as well, we had a lot of projects in our hands. Most important thing is first, let sure that everybody in the world know the brand Don Kiki, as well K by Berger cigars. Right, Bruce?
Absolutely. So that's kind of you saying big plans. My big plans are it drives me up a wall when I call a cigar lounge in Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Maryland, wherever. And I was like, have you heard of Don Kiki K by Berger? And they say no. If they say no, they haven't heard of us, then that's on me. That's not on Karen. I haven't done my job, because it's my job as vice president of sales and marketing to get our name out there. And I want every cigar lounge in the United States and everyone in Europe and parts elsewhere to know who we are. So the plan right now is brand expansion to get us to where we're known everywhere. It drives me up a wall when I still call a place, I've never heard of Karen Berger before. I'm like, really? Like, that's got to change, you know? So that's something I diligently work on. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, for me, I've had to order from more shops on the East Coast than for Texas, because it's been difficult. But I think here, and I've been seeing more people post the Don Kikis and the K by Karen. So, you know, that's what exciting is, like, from a year ago, from like, I guess it was like April, so it hadn't been quite a year, but from when, you know, Karen and I sat down, the only place I could really get them was out in Addison, or I had to order them to get them delivered. And now I'm seeing them more regularly. So I'm excited that I don't have to go out, and I can get it more from a brick and mortar. And it just seems here recently in the Central, y'all have just been exploding. So kudos to y'all.
So,
because I'm on y'all's group, and it seems like every day, like 2 or 3 shops are going up. So I want to give y'all kudos for that. And I would love it for every store across the nation, around the world.
around the world. And before we get, because I do want to kind of go over, you know, the big event that you guys went to in Europe. But Bruce, Karen, can you tell us how many stores you are in the United States? You know, so that our viewers can know where, you know, how they can go and get some of your cigars.
We're in about little. When I started with Karen, we were in like less than 50 stores in the United States. Now we're in probably about 600, somewhere around there. You know, and we're in 44 states right now. You know,
Woo-hoo.
yeah. I mean, thank you. There's some states like South Dakota, North Dakota that don't have our cigars, but there's not that many people there. We don't have any cigars in Hawaii yet, but but we're in California in a few shops now, and we're all over the East Coast. We're all over the Midwest. We're in the Central Plains region. We're in a lot of the mountain region as well. So we're usually in any market you're in, you can find our cigars somewhere. And there's certain areas like the Greenville, Spartanburg area of South Carolina. I would see online constantly that people are like, where are your cigars in South Carolina? And I told Karen, I was like, I got to go to South Carolina. And Karen gives me a hard time too. Like, if somebody asks for a cigar in Alabama and I can't, she's like, Bruce, why aren't our cigars in Alabama? I'm like, okay, my fault, Karen. Okay, I'll get on that. I'm sorry, right? Yeah. I have to deal with her. You know, Bruce, how come we are not in Nashville, Tennessee? What's wrong with that? I'm like, okay, I'll work on that. You know.
What happened with Hawaii?
Hawaii? He's like, oh, he goes, man, if you have to send me, I guess I'll go.
Right. I'll take a trip to Hawaii.
Tell about the Hawaii when you asked me that you want to go to Hawaii.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I wouldn't say this unless Karen wants me to, but like, Karen and I were like just knowing each other for like 7 or 8 months, and like we're talking. I was like, yeah, I want to be in every state. I want to be in Hawaii. And it's like, Hawaii, Bruce? She's like, let's focus on the United States right now. I was like, Karen, Hawaii is the United States.
Well, and I see what you mean by that, because I went to a couple of shops here. I mean, one shop that's like within walking distance, you know, it's like, you know, not even an eighth of a mile away. It's like a couple of blocks away from me. And I went in and asked them, I said, do you guys have any K by Karen or Don Kiki cigars in there? And I knew they didn't, but I talked to the manager of the store, and he goes, I'm not familiar with who that is.
Right.
And I was like, okay, we've got to change that.
Right.
And we have 80 plus, probably close to 100 cigar lounges just here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I have to, and I'm not complaining that because I'm happy to, but I have to drive like 25, 30 miles, which in DFW, that's like a 2 hour drive round trip
Yeah.
to get the
Mhm.
cigars. But I will all day long and every day.
Mhm.
So leading up to the question of how is it that we can help you guys get the name out even further. I mean, I know that we can do it by just talking to our brick and mortars of that, but what else do you guys look from the community who love your cigars to try to help you guys get out?
Well, basically, if anyone wants our cigars in a certain area, for example, Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, they were clamoring for them online, and then I finally went out there, and now we're in like 8 shops in the Greenville, Spartanburg area. So whenever someone's in an area and they want our cigars, get online and post and follow me, Bruce Busch on
Mhm.
Instagram and Facebook, and private message me and say, hey man, I want our cigars in this shop right here. A guy, Johnny Harris, who I love to death, a great dude in Raleigh, North Carolina, he was clamoring for our cigars. So finally his brick and mortar put in an order for us and got our cigars, and we're in that shop now. So basically, go find Karen Berger or Bruce Busch on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you very much right there. And ask us, and I will get on the horn, and I will do everything in my power to get our cigars into that area. You know, you got to remember something with our cigars. We're a completely linear company. From the seed to your hands, we have the highest quality tobacco in the business. I mean, we're right there with AJ Fernandez and Perdomo and everyone else in Esteli, Nicaragua. So we're making top quality cigars. Karen is a tremendously talented blender. So all you got to do is put the word out there, hand the ball off to me or to Karen, preferably me, and then we'll do the rest. Karen will just send the contact over to me. I'll follow up on it, and hopefully we'll close the deal.
And you brought up a good point, because you know, you have your farm and your factory out there, and you know, and I don't think people realize is like for these cigars, and I was so shocked about, you know, because sometimes I'm expecting, okay, the Don Kiki, the gold that I'm smoking, is probably gonna be $12-15, and it's a phenomenal cigar that I put up against any cigar, and it's affordable. And that is, you know, it's, you know, you have your farm and your factory, and here's the thing, is your factory's right next to another well-known, and your farm is right next to another well-known farm.
Right.
And so y'all kind of almost share the same soil. So, I mean, it is, and the fact that you have your farm and your factory, it keeps the production a little bit lower as opposed to somebody who's having to outsource that.
That's right. That's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I just saw that note. I saw that note pop up. Syracuse, New York. I'm on it like blue bonnet, man. I'll get to work on Syracuse, New York. I promise. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people like the linear fashion of a cigar, and we have that. You know, we don't outsource anything. We're not going around a factory going, "Hey, would you make a cigar for us?" We're not doing that. We make our own cigars. You know, which is a big testament to the quality and the consistency of our products.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we did have a question from Albert J. Hernandez. He says, how did the collaboration between AJ Fernandez and you come about?
Well, that's
the 25th anniversary.
Yes, that's a project that we had in our hands around 2 years and a half. So one of the person that Kiki held with at the beginning was Mr. AJ Fernandez. So I know the respect and love that Mr. AJ Fernandez has to my husband. So I decide why not asking to him about he can help me to bring something new in the market. We are neighborhood, so we had the farm. My farm is next to his farm, so I say we had everything here. Why not to make an amazing cigar together? And he say everything that you ask me, everything can I do for you and Kiki will be my pleasure. That's why Don K by Karen Berger anniversary born. So that was amazing collaboration. We worked together and in the blend and everything. As well, we work together in the design of the label and everything.
I love that blue.
The production was made in his factory, but the packing and everything was in my factory. So it was a long process, and we are really happy and proud with the result.
And because like usually you have a burgundy or red on with yours, but you also have blue. Now I want you to tell, because I know the story behind the blue, because I got a sneak peek of that before it even came out and before people saw it. But I got a sneak peek of the van, and I was like, wow, that's blue. It's a beautiful blue. So can you explain the blue band for that cigar?
Yes, if you see in the side of the label, it shows the flag of Nicaragua. So the blue represent first of all the color of the flag of Nicaragua. The blue is the as well the color of the ocean and everything, and it's a beautiful band. So in behind the brand is the La Casa de Curado, the aging, the curing tobacco.
Curing barn.
Yeah.
Bar. Yes, that's one of the reason. I am really happy with the result of that label. So, as I say before, we work together in all the detail from the box, from the label, from everything.
Yeah, I think it was like, because I was used to getting that beautiful burgundies and reds, which are my colors, and then but the blue just pops and it stands out, and it's really neat. So I was really excited. Now, because you have your farm there, and I know that y'all host an event in January, a big event in January in Nicaragua, Esteli especially. So can you kind of talk about that event, because I'm like, man, that is like the event to go to for cigars.
Yes, this is it's called Puro Sabor. It's a cigar festival that every January we make. For COVID situation, we canceled the festival in 2021, but I am part of the Chamber of Tabacaleros of Nicaragua. So I am part of the cigar festival. So we are really excited. If you had the opportunity to be in the cigar festival, it's an amazing experience. It's a cigar festival where you had the opportunity to visit different farms and factories in Nicaragua. It's around 4 or 5 days that you had a lot of different kind of activities since morning until night, breakfast and some particular farm or factory, lunch at night. We had dinner and party. You had that beautiful experience to meet in person. The owner of the many brands as Padron, Perdomo, Rocky Patel, a lot of people, a lot of big people in the cigar industry. So this is a beautiful experience. If you had the opportunity, please click on the page of nicaraguancigarfestival.com. It's coming in January. We still have tickets for the event as well. My factory is part of the tour, and it is a beautiful experience. I totally recommend that kind of event. It's beautiful.
Yes.
I'll be there.
And then I was gonna say, go ahead.
No, I'd say I'll be there. I'm looking forward to seeing anyone that wants to come out there. It's going to be a blast. I mean, and truth be told, it's going to be my first time to our fields and factory, because when I started with Karen, it was the beginning of the pandemic. So I've been working for Karen for 2.5 years, but I still have not been to Nicaragua to the farms and factories. So I've been to Honduras and the DR, the factory tours, but I've never been in Nicaragua. So I'm pretty excited about home as well.
If somebody are cigar lover, this is amazing experience. So we call Esteli la capital del tabaco, the city of the tobacco. So in Esteli, as you know, many big brand is coming from Nicaragua. Oh my God, when I say Nicaragua,
mine does too, and
I love
my
Nicaragua.
goal
So one of the particular things that I love.
I think there may be a storm coming through.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I lost for. Yes.
Okay, you're back.
That Nicaragua. Yes, one of the the thing that I love from my country is the people. We are really hard workers. So it's a beautiful experience.
I will be in Nicaragua sometime next year. I wish I could make it in January, but my goal is to come down to Nicaragua and spend a week down there in Esteli. So I'm definitely going to come by your factory for sure, especially after hearing all of this.
More than welcome.
And I mean, I'm just still in awe that I mean, especially now, because we hear that, you know, things with Nicaragua, people are leaving the country and coming to America, or, you know, they're not, you know, so a lot of the issues is like bans aren't being placed on cigars, or boxes aren't being made. But it's a beautiful testament that you've had people working for 25 years, 15 years. And to me, I think that is just, it's a beautiful, it's, you know, I can't say enough. To me, it's very awe-inspiring, and it just tells the testament of what Don Kiki and what you have continued and what you are doing. And I mean, it's just phenomenal, because most people don't stick around and work for places that long.
No, I mean, 15, 25 years with, you know, having that kind of loyalty and dedication is just a testament to you and Bruce and everything that you guys are doing with your brand. And that we can taste that we could taste that quality and that love and that passion in every single cigar that I've had of yours so far.
And the retro hell.
Thank you so much.
And my favorite, we talked about this. Our favorite part of the cigar was the retro hell, and at the very end of smoking it, because we talked about how some people, they smoke it and then they get to like right about here and they chunk it. And you and I were like, they're missing the best part of the cigar. And we're like, why did you throw it out? Don't throw it out, that part, because it's the best part.
Okay, so we've got another question from Albert, and he asked, Karen, do you plan on doing any different blends other than what you produce in Nicaragua?
We were talking, Bruce, remember about that? Yes, for in the future as well, you know, there are nothing more beautiful in the world to try different cigar, to try different origin of cigar. As a retail owner, I had the opportunity to try different blends coming from Honduras, from Dominican Republic, from different parts, you know, and I am in love with every tasting, with every flavor from different countries. So one of our plan in the future is to bring something different to the market. And could be something between a blend between Nicaragua and another country, or only for another country. We are working on it, but sure, we are planning to do something different.
That's exciting. One of my favorite, a couple of my favorite wrappers would definitely be the Brazilian Modafina. I just absolutely love that wrapper, and I was introduced to that one by one of AJ's cigars. His the Reconquisto from oh my goodness, the name just the Ave Maria Reconquisto, which has a Modafina wrapper. And I love Ecuadorian cigars with the sweet tropical fruit that you get mixed in with all of the earthy notes that you come to expect out of Ecuador. So I'm excited about all of that.
And by the way, you are wearing a nice t-shirt, and thank you so much. And for sure, let me thank you because the work that you are doing through social media to promote the different shows that are doing is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Instagram, Facebook, oh my God, you impress me. You are doing a really, really good job.
Thank you.
You are doing a really good job. And talking a little bit about the people as a team, as a family, one of the three words that represent our company is the word that are in your t-shirt: passion, loyalty, and courage.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Yes, we
that.
have
Yes.
a lot of people loyal to us as our people or team in Nicaragua as well here in United States. So loyalty for me is a heavy word and means a lot to me.
I
Well,
wanted to
and
put that in the title, but I only had so much room, and you brought out the graphics, and I want to give a shout out to Albert J. Hernandez. We know him and love him as Bert, and he's the one that has done all of the graphics for us, really since the beginning of the show. Someone that has just loved and followed what we do and said, here, I want to be a part of this. And so all of these beautiful graphics that you've seen promoting this show has all been done by Bert. So thank you again, Bert.
yes.
He's the mastermind behind all of that.
I was impressed. I love it. I love it. I was impressed. Beautiful work, beautiful design, and the expansion and all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook were amazing. Congratulations. You are amazing team together.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, and one thing is like when you were talking about the AJ and like Bert brought this up too, that most of the time San Andreas you see it as a wrapper. You don't see it as a binder. And that is like a lot of times people use it as a wrapper. And I think that's so out of the box, that y'all used it as a
As,
binder.
as a binder, yes.
Yeah.
That is really, really cool.
It is really cool, and which is a great segue. So, just talk a little bit about kind of some of the notes, and how our pairings are going. And my pairing with the rye is just exactly what I was expecting, was hoping. The sweetness of both of the wrapper and the binder is just really coming through. The creamy chocolatey notes that you would expect from the San Andres is really coming through with this, and as a binder. So where we hear a lot of, the 60%, 70%, I've even heard some people say 80% of the notes come from the wrapper. And while there's a lot to that, don't overlook the binder. And when you're going through your
Mm-hmm.
pairings, look to see what's in the binder in the full blend to really know how to marry those notes up. Because when you marry those notes with whatever you're drinking, that's where you're getting the full experience of it, rather than
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful experience smoking a cigar by itself. But man, when you can marry those up, my pairing is going great. Now I'm gonna have to revisit this and write up a pairing review on it, because I'm enjoying this.
And and it's kind of like what Bruce was saying with the IPAs with the hoppiness, and he just like as soon as he started out, he's like it it's perfect because of the hoppiness and like the natural and the habano, and so but mine is like it's a sweet buttery creamy with the gold. It is like it kind of reminds me of a pastry, like a pastry with the buttercream on it, or buttercream frosting is what I get. And then the bread and butter, it's a vanilla. So I don't want to say it's it's kind of reminding me, I don't want to say a cupcake because that sounds cliche, but I'm sitting here thinking of a cake, and now I'm wishing I had cake along with the cigar and the wine. It is just like
Mm.
pure cream, and it's kind of
Hey,
like I was
don't
saying.
don't ever overlook a good chocolate chip cookie. Oh my God.
Oh,
Like a good
Oh
yes,
yes.
nougat
straight
chocolate
out of
chip
the
cookie and then a
oven.
cigar. Oh man. Absolutely.
I've
Absolutely.
I've got a cookie sitting in my kitchen done by a local baker and a friend of ours that he calls it the Texas Roadhouse because I kid you not, this cookie is like this big
It seems like
around.
it's bigger than that. It seems like it's
It's
bigger than that.
and it's probably a good half-inch thick and just beautiful, all kinds of flavors. And I'm gonna have to go and find another one of these cigars because this is my last one, so that I can do a pairing of that. And I'm gonna do a pairing with it with my rye because that's gonna go good, but also with a cab sav like what you're doing, Red.
And here was one thing, and I'm gonna tattle on Karen here because when she was out at her event, she had white wine. So is white wine is like what is your favorite wine to pair with your cigars?
I love Merlot. I like red wine.
Okay.
That's my
Oh,
favorite.
red.
I am a no person of tequila, whiskey, bourbon, rum. I am not kind of person. I if I enjoy some of the drink with a good cigar, has to be some kind of red wine. Could be Merlot or Cabernet. But I love red wine.
And what about coffees? How do you feel?
Oh
What's
my
your
God.
favorite coffee?
I drink coffee as a crazy. I am lover.
I knew she was a coffee one, but because like she said, she drinks it throughout the day. So, what is your favorite?
I
A little
love,
secret with Karen. She likes Waffle House coffee. If you drive by a Waffle House, she'll be like, "Oh, Bruce, I want some coffee, Waffle House."
And
Right,
they have
Karen?
the best cherry. I mean, they have the best vanilla coats.
yeah, they have it. You know, one of my favorite, if I am driving, my favorite spot for a stop is Waffle House. I love more dirty, more loaded.
But that's not what you have in your house.
And they are dirty sometimes.
So
Yes.
what
Oh, yes,
what
they
what
are.
kind of coffee do you have at your house?
Well, I use here. I had two kind of coffee. Right now, we are using a coffee. It's called Cubita, from Cuba, Cubita. So we made that coffee. It's Thai Cuban coffee. It's really good. Doesn't have the strong as Pilon or Bustelo, which is I love it Pilon or Bustelo because give the strength for a really Cuban coffee. But cubita is okay. But one of my favorites. So Nicaragua, we drink a lot of coffee, but the coffee is very similar to American coffee. It's very light. But in
Oh,
store, we had the machine for make espresso Cuban coffee. So I enjoy a lot the espresso Cuban coffee while I am smoking my cigar.
Red,
They,
I'm seeing a road trip coming up for us.
hmm,
clean your
yeah.
palate. For me, one of the best pairing for cigars is coffee.
Well, and I I was shocked that you're saying in Nicaragua. I was expecting it to be more like Cuban coffee.
No, we produce a lot of coffee as well as sugar, cane sugar, and of course tobacco. But the coffee that we usually drink in Nicaragua is very light coffee. It's very light.
That like I'm shocked because I was like, oh, they're gonna have like the strong coffee. So that was really cool to know.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was expecting more of a strong coffee. And Bert says that Bustelo puts him in cardiac arrest. So Bert, hold off.
Hey, make no mistake, guys. When you go to the Don King Cigar Superstore in Daytona Beach, I mean, like either Chip or Karen or Alan or someone there, they'll make you a very strong Cuban coffee. So she might say that, but in the Don King Superstore in Daytona, it's Cuban coffee, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
And so
That's the drink we have there, right, Karen?
Yes, yes.
and I remember her telling me that. So I want to talk. Can we talk about the superstore real quick? Because I know that y'all just had an event with a motorcycle.
Yes, yes. So we have the store in Daytona Beach, 7,000 square feet. It's an open humidor. We had two floors. First floor is the walking humidor. The second floor is the lounge area. We had pool tables, domino table, the couch, TV and everything. But it's a beautiful store. We had different brands over there. We support a lot of the boutique cigar brands. We had three biggest events in the years. January, we had everything from NASCAR, International Speedway, Daytona 500, and all the races. Then we had in March, by week, which is 10 day, people around the world coming to Daytona Beach riding motorcycle, and it's a beautiful event. So we had 10 days. We had different events every day. We had different reps coming in all these different days. And we just passed by Oktoberfest, which is only 3 days as well. We had different events every year, but it's beautiful. It's amazing. You know, we are fan lover of the cigar industry. There are fan lover of motorcycle, and you know, it's funny because a lot of motorcycle, they love cigar. There's a lot of people come to my store, they love cigar. Yes.
So what's the next big event for you guys? Where can people come to see you? Come to see Bruce. What's next as far as where your cut and light event? Where are you guys going to be?
I'll be in Connecticut and New York, in New York, the 17th and the 18th. November 17th, I'll be at Butthead's Tobacco Emporium, which is the coolest damn name ever. Butthead's Tobacco Emporium, right?
Sounds like
In Danbury,
Butthead.
Connecticut. I know, it's awesome, right? So I'll be at Butthead's on and then I'll be at Maxie's Cigar Lounge in Queens, New York, or just outside of Queens on November 18th. And then if you are in the Tampa Bay area, you can see me and Karen at Patriot Stogies on December 1st. And then you'll see me and Karen again on December 2nd at MC Cigars, Dave's favorite shop in the Tampa Bay area, out in the Brandon Valrico area. So those are places you could see us coming up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of questions.
December's wide open. I might grab Karen and do another event here in Tampa Bay or Orlando or something like that, because we don't have much going on in December. So maybe me and Karen will do a pop-up event in Orlando somewhere, maybe.
So in March, you guys need to come out to the NFG Festival, which is one of the largest boutique cigar festivals right here in Fort Worth, and we'd love to see you there. I say we because it's Underground Cigars. That's Reds and our home shop that we love to go to. But every year it's the boutique cigar festival. Usually around 400 to 500 people come in, buy cigars from all of the boutiques that come in and representing there. And then we also got a question from Cigar Rockstar himself, who's watching on Facebook, and he asks if you're going to be coming to the Heritage Festival this year.
Karen, we're not in Ybor City is what he's talking about, right?
No,
Karen can come to my house and stay here, and we can go walk around, but we don't have a booth at it. So that's something Karen and I have to talk about. If she wants to come to Tampa, she could always stay at my house, and we can walk around, but we don't have a booth. We had one last year, and it was great, but we don't have a booth at the Heritage Festival this year. Maybe we'll get one. What do you think, Karen? Do you want to do it?
Yes, this is the first year. I miss the day that they sent the things to buy the booth. I was really busy because this year was very difficult for us. We had the PCA, then we had the Intertabac. We had a lot of things this year, so I totally forget to get my booth. My fault.
And I would, because you talked about over in Europe, how it looked like y'all had a phenomenal time out in Europe. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about that and that experience for that?
Yes, that was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
that's our second time
Go
in
ahead,
Intertabac. we had the opportunity to open a new accounts in different markets. So we did amazing. So one of the new account that we opened was Hungary, Bruce.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's right, Hungary. Yeah, yeah. Alpha Tobacco,
That is
Budapest,
a
Hungary. Yeah, we're in
beautiful
Hungary now.
country.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
a gorgeous, that is a beautiful country with a lot of history behind it. That is a really cool country. And then
We
Switzerland.
also have distribution in Germany and Czech Republic and Greece now, and working on Estonia, Singapore. We're in the United Kingdom. We're in Switzerland, obviously. So we're really blowing up quite big over in Europe right now.
Yes, in Switzerland we had our distributor. We are working for them around 4 years. But that's the first time that we had two biggest events in Switzerland. My first time, I fell in love with the country, I fell in love with the people. It was amazing experience for both of us.
And it's beautiful. Switzerland is beautiful. Y'all went to lots of beautiful places.
Yes, yes, we had the opportunity.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yes, we eat a lot of chocolate.
And chocolate and cigars go hand in hand.
Yes, that was a really good experience over there.
Tell us about this helicopter ride that you guys took over Switzerland. I mean, I saw some of the videos that you did, and just some of the scenery. Looked like it was amazing.
My first time.
It was absolutely amazing. They took us up. Christoph, our beautiful guy, took us up in a helicopter from the French side of Switzerland over the Matterhorn Mountain, which I can't believe. Karen and I were in the bulb of the helicopter. She was we're right over the Matterhorn. It was like unbelievable. And then we landed in Zermatt, and he took us out for steaks and wine, and then we flew back, and oh my God, we just had the best time in Switzerland. It was so awesome. We were staying at a Roman bathhouse. So Karen didn't want to do it. She went back to her room, but I got massages. I went to the bathhouse, and there was a bathhouse with the Swiss Alps on both sides. While I have the jets like massaging my back. It was absolutely wonderful.
That is very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And you stayed in your room through that, Karen? I mean,
she was probably exhausted and wanted to talk to her babies.
I was exhausted. For me, were 10 days that look for me like a 1 month. I am really enjoy, because every time that we had some cigar events, I make my measure. I know about the success and money the event it is. For me, the success is about to let the people know who we are, or the history behind our brands and everything, make the people know everything about our cigars. So yes, was really exhausted for me. So I was missing my family, but at the same time, really happy to meet new people. Was an amazing event. So we did amazing. So our distributor in Switzerland did amazing with us. People fell in love with our cigar. Yes.
Well, and I want to talk about your ratings real quick, because all your ratings are phenomenal. So I want to give you a chance to brag and take this moment to tell about the ratings of your cigars, because it's always been like, in school we look, okay, A's. We talked about like your oldest son, who is brilliant and he's working really hard in school, and those A's are really good. But that also speaks about cigars when we rate cigars. So if you wouldn't mind talking about the cigars and the ratings for that too.
Yes, our first cigar rating was Dukiki Gold Label, which we got 91 Cigar Journal magazine. Second was Don Kiki Platinum, we got 91 as well, and the top 18 and the top 25 as the best cigar 2017. Or K by Karen Berger Maduro was rated in a Smoke magazine with 92, as well with 90 in Cigar Journal magazine. Or K by Karen Berger Habano Smoke magazine is a 90 rating, as well Cigar Journal magazine 90. our Don Kiki or K by Karen Berger Connecticut was one of the highest cigar rate right now with 93. Cigar Journal
Wow.
magazine, which is say about something about the 93 rating, Bruce, the Cigar Journal magazine.
Yeah, so our K by Camera Connecticut Toro got a 93 in Cigar Journal magazine, which is absolutely amazing because, generally a Connecticut never climbs above a 90 or a 91 because more often than not with a Connecticut, there's not a lot to play with there. Like a Maduro or something, with a bigger body to it might give people that rate cigars the opportunity to climb into it more and find more flavors and all that. So for a 93 on a Connecticut, which Cigar Journal has never seen before, was really amazing. We're very proud of that. Our Connecticut, I'll put our Connecticut up against any Connecticut in the world. And that 93 that we got really validated that for us. I was very, very proud of that rating.
And our Cameroon is 91. Our Cameroon is 91 as well. Don Kiki Red Label is 90 or 91, Bruce. Don Kiki Red
Label is a 90 Red Label, but you got to remember something. That's a $7 cigar. A $7 cigar. They got a 90 in Cigar Journal. Sumatran wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's an amazing cigar.
And see, that's what I was talking about, is because the price point is phenomenal on y'all cigars. It is great. Yeah. And I think and I'm going to say the first K by Karen that I ever had was the Cameroon, and it was gifted to me by Graybeard. And I actually went I had never smoked it, and I went live with it and smoked it. And I was just floored about how amazing that Cameroon was. I was like, and excuse my French, I was like, holy shit. I was like, I need more of these. And I was just beyond impressed then. And that it got me hooked. And it was just, and they said, oh, it's a limited edition. And I was like, that it made me sad. But now it's part of y'all's core line because it had so much success.
Yes. Talking about the Cameroon as a truly Cameroon from Africa, and the binder of that cigar is a Sumatra, Indonesia, which is for me the blends between these two different wrappers is beautiful. Filler is coming from Nicaragua. Is beautiful cigar. For me, the Cameroon is a really good cigar. One of the things that I fell in love, my first Cameroon in another brand was AJ Fernandez Cameroon. As you know, the Cameroon wrapper is not the most beautiful wrapper in the world. It has a lot of spot and everything, but the flavor of that particular wrapper is really good.
And that's what I would say. It's like sometimes people are like, I'm not sure about it, but the flavors just blow your mind on it.
Right.
And I'm gonna say it pairs well with any drink I put with it. And I think Graybeard would testify for that.
Oh yeah, I've gone through probably a box worth of your Cameroon cigar, and up until I smoked it the first time, my favorite Cameroon was Fuentes from the Hemingway series, which he uses a lot of Cameroon from there. And when I had the Cameroon, I knew something was different with it because it really, that with the Sumatra, where you're getting those beautiful earthy tones, those leathery earthy, those gravel, dusty type earthy notes, as opposed to what's typically thought of as earthy notes as your hay and grassy notes with it. That combination of the Cameroon and the little bit of a spicy kick that you get with that Cameroon, with those creamy notes, it was just an absolute explosion of flavors. And when I reached out to Anya and said, where can I get some more of these? Because she gave me my first Cameroon, has sent me some of her cigars and sent me some of yours as well. And I said, where can I get some more of these? And she goes, these are a limited edition run. And she goes, but there's a store in Houston. And so she got me connected with that store, and I bought another 5-pack. and that's when I was able to give one to Red. But it was just I was blown away, and so I tried other Cameroons. I tried, an AJ Fernandez Cameroon, his New World, and still your cigar not only stood up to those, very well known names in the industry, industry leaders with Carlito and AJ. Your cigar not only stood up to that, it surpassed those
It
two.
did.
Thank
It
you.
did.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creation.
Thank you. Thank
And,
you.
and we talked about nubbing cigars.
So the numbers that we're both using here, these were done by our buddy Bill Wade, who's known as the Nubber. And I don't know if you can see that very well. That's my Graybeard logo
Beautiful.
on it.
I love it.
And he sent some to Karen. He did a rose gold because we talked about rose gold because we had the red, and we were talking about red, and you said your favorite color was rose gold, and he made me a rose gold, and I said, you have to send this out to Karen. So he sent some out, but I love it because like I can't hold this even with my nails, and that was one thing that like I don't usually do the white tips, and you always have yours. I always do mine different colors, but mine end up turning yellow. But now it's like I'm able to nub even further on my cigars, and as you can tell, I mean there's nothing left.
Wow. I love it.
Hey guys,
I
I gotta give a shout out real quick here.
Yes.
My boy Mateo Pensa in Anianta, Alabama, is trying to comment on the show and is blocking him for some reason. So he just texted me. He he has Southern Smoke Cigar Lounge in Anianta, Alabama, which is a phenomenal place. And he wants to say hi to everybody, say hi to Karen, say hi to you guys. And he's trying to comment, but like it's not working. So he just texted me privately.
Oh, well, sorry you're not able to comment. I don't know.
Yeah.
That stinks. And thank you. And Alabama is where my family comes from. My mom's from Alabama. We had a farm out there. So, yay, Alabama.
I've been through Alabama. But there's some
That's
good
cool.
spots out of Alabama. Yeah, I've been through there.
I've been through it. No, I've spent many weeks and months out in Alabama, and that's where and we talk about it because like whenever you smoke a cigar, the first thing that we talk about is like when you smell it or you can't picture the taste, it brings back memories, and it brings back beautiful memories that you cherish. And that's one thing that, as I was sitting there talking, sorry, my throat, like I remember when Graybeard gave me the Cameroon, and I just remembered, so that's beautiful memories that whenever you're smoking cigars that you have, and you could say, okay, I had my first Karen, because I am so sorry, because Graybeard gave it. And that's a beautiful memory that we have, and we talk about that.
Yeah, when we're talking about pairings, and we've had a lot of people come up to us and say, how is it that we can learn to start picking out flavors in your cigar? Because I mean, I'm sure every single, but all of us have experienced conversations with people where they'll come back and say, all I'm picking up is tobacco. I enjoy it, but all I get is tobacco, and I want to learn how to pick up some, the chocolate notes, and how do you pick up the leather notes, and how do you decipher these? And one of the things that we teach on the psychological aspect of it, of looking back in your memories, what kind of memory is it bringing back to you? Your time, like what Red has talked a lot about with her grandpa and her family, the tobacco farms and the different farms, that her different people of her family that she's been on, brings back a lot of memories. So look at that memory, focus in on that memory, and what is it that's key about that in the cigar is bringing that up, and then have a tasting wheel, a pairing wheel that breaks down the notes into different categories, and look to see where you're drawn to. So if that memory is, out on the farm, well, maybe it's the hay, or maybe it's the cows, or maybe it's, what you're growing on the farms that draws you in, and start training your palates that when a particular memory comes up, that that's coming to, okay, I'm picking up hay, I'm picking up grass, I'm picking up maybe some sungrass, I'm picking up lemongrass from this because I'm getting a lemon note out of it because it reminded me of something, like where I had a lemon meringue pie and it reminded me of that. And so utilize
Absolutely.
that.
It's
to draw
Dave,
in.
it's muscle memory. It's muscle memory.
It's exactly what it is.
It's muscle memory of your brain. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when you pay attention to that taco when eating it, and you taste the pico de gallo, you taste the guacamole, you taste the chicken, all those flavors have a parallel somewhere in the tobacco world, and it's just about remembering that taste and then feeling it through one of the sensors of your tongue on the inhale or retrohale, and once you focus in on that and free your mind, okay? A lot of people,
Exactly,
and a lot of people in general can't really free their mind. They're very constricted, so you have to open your mind up a little bit. All right, okay, cigar, I'm ready for you. Do what you want to do to me, right? And then you smoke it, and, oh, there's that Godiva chocolate that I had when I was 25 years old. Oh, there's that nutmeg my mom used to put in pancakes. Oh, there's that hearty steak that was caramelized on the outside. So you've got to really open your mind and let your mind be free. And when you do that, all the flavors will come to you.
And it was kind of like when she was talking about her first cigar, and she rolled it and she's like, oh, I'm going to, she smoked it. And you just talked about how an explosion of flavors came to you. And I'm sure it brought back memories of you growing up, because you have a ton of siblings. So, and I'm sure some of those memories came with your dad or your mom, or, things that you cherish, those memories with your husband, but it's like what you said, it's that muscle memory. And then when you pair it with something like your IPA to even enhance that even more, it's just, the experience even grows even more.
So I'm curious, Karen, and we've talked to Luciano about this. We've talked to we talked to Noel Rojas about this. When he's doing his blendings. When you're doing a blending, do these memories of different experiences, different situations, do those come into mind when you're coming up with what tobaccos, what primings, what regions? Do all of those come into play when you're doing a blending?
Of course, everything is it is a process. Blending process is very difficult. It took long time to create some particular brand and play different aspect in the life. Yes, in my case, for me, the experience to blending a cigar brings a lot of memories as well. Remind me every cigar that I already produce or make. So bring that, okay, this is the flavor that I had in that particular cigar. This is the strain that I had in particular cigar. So we are looking for another thing. We play, we play with different things. We play with different flavor to create something. So it's really important, that keep in mind everything that for create that kind of blend,
So because y'all talked about what's coming up for 2023, and are there any LEs, that you're particularly thinking or you're working on currently for the release of 2023?
All the cigar that we bring to the market has an history. And that particular cigar, the cigar we are working, is a history that has a lot of meaning in my personal situation, but it's a really surprise. Even Bruce doesn't know about that cigar.
Uh-oh.
So,
And I'm mad about that. I'm mad about that. I'm going to call Karen after the show. She and I are going to talk about that after the show.
He didn't know about our
Karen, you have a
A
video
couple
call
of
with me after the show is over.
Yes, because this is a surprise. You know, we are working really hard, so I want you surprised of all the things that we are doing to you be more proud of your team in Nicaragua. That's why. That's why we keep it as a secret.
So, are we going to see this cigar at PCE next year?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes,
Yay.
yes.
That's
So,
exciting.
we talked a bit about family, and Albert had a question a while back, and I don't want to forget this question, but he asked, out of your kids and family members that are legal smoking age, how many do they smoke your cigars? Are they cigar smokers, and do they support their mom and their family member with you?
They support me. I had 3 kids. I had Jose Carlos. Jose Carlos is almost 22 years old. I have Genesis Nicole, my daughter. She has 18 years old. Both doesn't smoke, but Genesis is a lady that I call my mini me. So she know everything about the different cigar as well. When we had vacation in Nicaragua, she worked in the factory. She know how to roll the cigar. She know how to
Oh,
put
wow.
the bands in the cigar. She know all the sizes. She know everything that we do produce as well. She know everything the cigar that we carry in our factory. She helped me sometime to make inventory, and she is really a smart lady. So I am really proud of her. I think
I've
that
seen her putting boxes together and
yes,
getting things
Yes.
together that you posted.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Maybe in the future, one day I had the opportunity to work smoke with one of my kids.
It's an amazing feeling. I got to smoke a cigar with my son-in-law. He's only 19, but he smoked it here on my balcony with me. And there was a moment that I was sitting in my chair just off to my left, and he was sitting where I am right now. And I just looked over at his way, and just was quiet and was just watching him as he's lighting it and taking his draw, and he's just kind of focusing in on it. And he looked over at me and he's like, "What?" And I said, "Nothing. It's just a proud dad moment. That's all it is."
It is. It is.
It is a beautiful moment. And I've kind of talked to you because I have
I remember, Ashred, when you told me that you had your own lounge in your house and you had the opportunity to share a cigar with your kid.
and I haven't posted this. My daughter actually smoked her first cigar with me, and it was, I've done it with my sons, and I'm gonna say, with when my son first had it, my sons did it. That was something that was just a beautiful, what I call moments. What we talked about moments is moments, because it was something that I could share with them. And then to actually have my daughter do it, because, we talked about, women in this, not very many women. And she's like, "Hey, Mom, I want to try a cigar tonight." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So, I started her out on a Lancero, and she wanted something with a little bit of a flavor, and I had one. But just to sit there, and I'm very close with my sons. They're very protective of their mother. But, it's like my daughter, it's a little bit, your relationship with your daughter is a little bit different versus your sons. I think everybody kind of knows that. And just to sit there and enjoy a cigar with her was just something different than my sons. And it's each time I've done this with my children, it's been an amazing, just I want to take it in and cherish that as much as I can. And I think it's kind of like, as parents, we want to cherish every second that we get with our children, especially, when we're busy and we're going and work gets there. But, and one thing that I loved is, like, you FaceTimed your daughter and she was practicing her makeup for her prom and she was getting ready for that. And it's neat to share those moments. But when they become an adult and they appreciate the industry that you're in and they appreciate the work that goes into it, it means something even more. So I can't wait for you to experience that, because I think it's one of those memories that you can't compare it, and it's a beautiful moment, kind of as Graybeard was saying.
For sure.
So got another question, along the lines of that, kind of back along the lines of, women in the industry. And we see a lot of women that are in the industry, and they present themselves in a way that draws a lot of attention from a lot of men, but not necessarily in ways that are positive towards women in the industry. So my question for you, Karen, especially with all of the recognition and accolades that you've gotten, you've really established yourself. I mean, there's a reason why we call you the queen of cigars, because you've established yourself as a very elegant, very respectful woman. What advice do you have for women that are wanting to come into the industry, regardless of whether they want to come in as a cigar owner or manufacturer, or they want to come in as a media influencer? What advice do you have for women that are coming into cigars?
I always say that as our naturaleza, ¿cómo se dice? Como nuestra naturaleza, Bruce. As our nature, as
It's
a woman,
natural, yeah.
it has some kind of sex appeal when some person see us smoking a cigar. So my only advice to get to all the people that like to appear in social media, that I really appreciate that, because I think that social media at this moment is the way that we promote or business or small business or brands and everything. The only advice that I give is when you post something, there are that there is something more than our physical appearance that need to bring more our attention. For me, uh, talking about the thing that you are doing, give me some knowledge about the thing that you are doing. Give me the necessity to try or see or copy the thing that you are doing. So give me get more knowledge. So we need to be more involved in everything that we are doing at the moment. And my particular way of thinking is that you are posting a beautiful picture and you are on the beach. Of course, you are waiting at swim. How do you say, Bruce?
Swimsuit.
Swimsuit.
Soup. Of
Swimsuit.
course, you are in the beach, but give me more details. So tell me, what are you smoking? Where the cigar is coming from? What do you think about the cigar? So for me, more you learn, more you are prepared to explain or to be to have a kind of experience.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
Yeah,
and like I've talked to some female influencers on Instagram and all that are beautiful and they smoke cigars. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but amplify your knowledge of the product. I mean, really know what you're talking about. I mean, just, oh, I'm cute, I'm hot, I'm smoking a cigar. That's great. There's tons of them out there, What do you know? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna explain? Because a lot of it falls flat there. They just hey, I'm a beautiful girl in a bikini with a cigar. Okay, that's great. What do you know about the cigar? Really amplify your knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power,
exactly.
man. The more you know about what you're smoking, the better off you are.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. That in resume, that's my idea. So we need to be we need to learn more about that, and we had to get more knowledge. Knowledge.
What? Okay, so for a follow-up on that, what can we as the men in the industry do to help support women, to help improve the awareness that this is not a men's club anymore. This is a community, a culture of both men and women. And how can we as men help support you?
Yes, I don't know if Mr. Mateo Pensa is in the show, but I want to thankful him because the opportunity that not only to me as a woman, as a manufacturer, I saw him supporting a lot of manufacturers as a Miss JD Gonzalez from Fronte Gonzalez, I really appreciate all the support for women in the cigar industry. So really thankful. You know, this is an industry that doesn't have any gender. So this is an industry that women's and men's we can enjoy together. So really appreciate more that taking more women's counts, the knowledge and give more the opportunity, you know, for us as a businesswoman in the cigars industry.
Love it. That's a mic drop moment right there, people. Mic drop moment.
And I'm going to echo on that, is because, you know, we've talked about it, and, you know, one thing is, I'm always shocked about the comments, or they'll say, oh, okay, you know, what would you pair with this, or trying to, like, you know, see if I actually know it. And the respect that they now have, and they're like, hey, she actually knows. But I'm going to encourage the men to ask the women, ask them about their knowledge, because we do know. And
Right.
it's just not a pretty face. It's not someone dressed up beautifully, you know. We actually do know, and allow us to share that. And it's always interesting because they'll make comments, because I smoke a lot of boutique cigars, as you know, and they're like, oh, I've never seen that cigar. What is that called, or whatever? And to me, it sparks that conversation, and then it opens the doors for them to learn about cigars, and also the opportunity for me to learn about them. So it's kind of like a vice versa thing for them.
I want to echo that as being a man that's in the industry, and I cannot emphasize and echo what you two are saying enough, because I can't tell you how many times, and they don't do this anymore, but there's been times where, even in the past year and a half that we've been doing this show, to where Red would recommend a particular pairing, or Red would say something about a cigar, and I would get a message later on of, hey, Red recommended this, what do you think? And my comment back was to him is, if Red recommended this, then do it. Then do it. And we as men have got to support and say, you know, support you guys, but both of you, you know, ladies, of if a woman is saying try this, forget the fact that she's a woman. Go off of her knowledge, because you're right. Gender, I love that. Gender has nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen, we've been talking, you know, on and off for the past year, and I've learned so much from you just in our conversations, and I've learned so much from Red in our conversations. And I've been smoking cigars for 32 years. So we can always learn, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or it's a woman. Respect the person.
Right. And you know, like Allison Trainer, and I'm not even gonna, you know, from Rocky, she was talking about, like, you know, we had her on, but then Eric also says, hell yeah, more women smoking. That's my wife's goal, is to educate and promote the appreciation for the natural flavors, because there's those beautiful natural flavors that you're going to get from a cigar, and flavors offered through tobaccos. And I'm going to say this, I would rather receive a dozen cigars than a dozen flowers. I mean, just for me, that's my personal cigars, because I can enjoy those, but flowers fade quicker, and I can enjoy a cigar. I get more out of it.
I want to build up this question that Albert has asked, because this is a perfect question, because there's been Red and I will from time to time, we'll just go and travel and hit a couple of lounges in the DFW area, and we'll walk into a lounge that we've never been into and go into a humidor, and I have seen firsthand to where whoever it is that's working at that shop, that humidor, that they'll come to me and ask me what I'm looking for, and I'll say I'm just looking. And they'll ask her what she's looking for, and she'll say I'm just looking around, and then they'll start recommending things to her, automatically assuming that she doesn't know anything about cigars. So based upon that, when you walk into a lounge that's not yours, they don't know you. You know, it could possibly happen. We need to change that. How are you treated, and what kind of challenges do you see when you're walking into a lounge that you know what you're talking about?
Yes, the first impression that I saw people say, "What you're doing here?" Is no ladies' store or nothing like that. So this is the first impression when I see walking in a cigar humidor. So many people know that you love cigar as well. Many people know that you manufacture that cigar, but it usually happen in other cigar lounge. But in my cigar lounge, even when I am there, so sometimes I had to work in the register because one of my salesmen cannot come to at that time. So usually not usually, sometimes I had to work in the register. And when somebody come to my store, hello, welcome to Don Kiki Cigar Superstore. Can I help you? And sometimes I didn't have any response.
Wow.
Wow.
At your store.
Hello,
It's her
my
lounge.
store.
Oh, it's
Hello.
her store.
That's when I would go and pick up your Connecticut
I would
or
pick
your
up her
Habano.
magazine where it says she's
Or
a cigar queen and be like, "Hi."
yeah, here's a beautiful cigar. This is the Connecticut from K by Karen. And oh, by the way, I'm Karen.
What cigar do you recommend? I recommend my K by Karen Berger Connecticut. So that cigar is the wrapper is from Ecuador, and the other is coming from my farm, from the farm from Nicaragua. So do you know about you smoke cigar?
Yeah.
No, I don't smoke cigars. I just make them.
And we know
Congratulations.
that this happens to Bruce when he walks into a lounge.
Never. Never. No. No, I don't get that. I get, hey, dude, what's going on? You want a cigar? Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, I mean, it's not just cigars; it's across the board. My wife. This is a funny story right here, right? So for 19 years, I was a high school teacher, and my wife and I.
That's
My wife
so
is
cool.
the
I know
vice
that.
president of the Bank of. Yeah, my wife is the vice president of the Bank of Tampa. My wife is one of the most intense bankers in the state of Florida. Everyone in the banking community knows her. She's like the best, right? So my wife and I went in for our loan for the house that I'm in right now, and the guy giving us the loan wouldn't even look at her. He was looking at me, the school teacher, being like, okay, here's the rates, here's the mortgage plan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she's a banker. She's the vice president of a bank. And you're sitting here treating her like she's nothing. And you're talking to me, a high school teacher who doesn't know shinola about what you're talking about right now. So I mean, that it's not just cigars, it's across the board sometimes, unfortunately, and you probably see it in cigars more. But I don't, I'm gonna tell you guys some quick facts. This is pretty interesting right here, right? So 65% of A's and B's on report cards in the United States are obtained by girls, right? 80% of D's and F's on report cards are obtained by boys, right? If you look at the student body, class president, class vice president, secretary, treasurer, all that, like almost 90% of it is girls right now, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
women are outpacing men significantly right now. So if you've still got the idiot macho image that a guy should be in charge and a girl shouldn't, you better change that, because this world is going to change in about 10 years. And women are going to be running things, and guys are going to be catching up, running behind. So, I mean, this is just a microcosm of something larger,
Yeah. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a political rant there. Sorry about that.
No, that's perfect. We love that, and I want to echo that and say, guys, step up by the respect that we give to the women that they deserve.
So Allison,
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna have to say this is probably due to her height, because I'm 5'3", but I always wear heels, so everybody thinks I'm like 5'9", 5'10". No, I'm only 5'3.5", y'all. but and she's shorter than I am, and she says, I love it when I walk into a lounge and a guy says, hey, little girl, do you even smoke cigars? Laugh out loud. So Bruce, yell that from the rooftop, please. And I'm gonna echo that because I've been in education for 23 years, 23 years, 22 years. And when I first started teaching, one of the tasks that I had was I was at a science academy, and we had a lot of applications for boys to go to the science academy. And I created a club specifically for girls. And it was girls, engineering, mathematics, and science. We were called GEMS. And I wanted girls to know that they could do things mathematically because, you know, whenever girls talk about their favorite subject, it's always English. They were scared to do math. They said, oh, I can't do math. I can't do science, you know. And when you looked at the scientists and the mathematicians, it was mainly boys. So we created this club and it was amazing. We started off with like maybe 5 girls. By the end of the year, we had like 50 girls in this club for mathematics, engineering, and science. And we would compete against boys' clubs about the same things. And my girls always went above and beyond and won all the competitions. And it was amazing to see, you know, at first when you look at the scores and you dissect the scores, and you're going to understand this, Bruce, you look at the math and the science, and it was always the boys that would always did better. By the time at the end of the year, our girls exceeded the boys. And we were like, what boys are in what? What are they doing? And they wanted to go into professions like bankers, engineering, mathematics, science. And it was eye-opening experience for that, because I think sometimes women were told that they couldn't do it. Like girls were like, oh, go to English, or, you know, go to art, do social studies. But I think now it's like an empowerment. And I don't want to say it's an empowerment thing, but it's that mindset is changing, like you said. And it's exciting.
Even in my industry, and I've been in IT for almost 30 years as well, um, you know, it's really heavily weighted on mostly men that are in IT, mostly men that are programmers, mostly men that are network administrators, and the women are usually the quality assurance, you know, assurance analysts. They test everything. But I got to tell you, some of the most brilliant programmers that I've worked with, and I've worked with thousands of them over the years, have been women. And that's not to say that men can't do it either.
Right.
And I love what you said, back to what you said earlier, Kara, just, you know, with cigars, it's not a gender-based, you know, there's no gender in it. There's no gender in any career that we're doing.
None.
There's no gender in any career that we're doing. And the respect that is given depends upon the person, not the gender.
And how they worked and hustled and had the passion. They had the passion. They had the drive. They had the loyalty to stick with it. And I think that's what made it grow. And it kind of comes back to how you started and how your late husband started. And it just kind of echoes it, and you passing it down to your children. You know, even though while you go do something and they're in the office, they might give themselves tattoos. But but I think it's introducing them to it. I think it's kind of like introducing them to the love and passion and having a loyalty for it.
Indeed.
It comes back full circle.
So we're coming up on our 2-hour mark, and I want to respect both of your time. So and we can continue on going, but I know it's also 10 o'clock over there in your guys' where you guys are.
Yeah.
So with that said, do you guys have any closing remarks as far as what you hope people learn and know about Karen Berger, about Don Kiki, about your cigars, what you're doing, and about what you're trying to do in this industry?
Karen?
Yes, the only thing that I want to say is really appreciate everybody's support, and thank you for the opportunity to try our cigar as well. Different cigar. I say more cigar you try, more knowledge, more your palate will be more educated. So thank you so much for the opportunity to try our cigar and try different cigar. But as well, I prefer that you try my cigars or cigars than others. So we are here, as at the beginning I say, to tell the people that we are, as a small boutique cigar brand, we work with in base to bring to the market a really good cigar. We are focused to bring quality cigar instead the quantity of cigars. So we are really proud of everything until right now, and we are continue growing. All Thank you for all the support that we are receiving from every one of you guys. Really appreciate that, and the legacy and the love for the leaf continue, and we bring more things, more surprises are coming. So please help us to preaching our brand, our cigar, K by Karen Berger, Don Kiki. If your retail store doesn't carry your product, ask about them and be in contact with us. We are really proud of they have some kind of present in every retail store.
And
All right.
Bruce, did you see that comment about San Diego?
I did, and I want to tell Albert J. Hernandez our cigars are available at 3-in-1 Sports Shop in Chula Vistas, California. So 3-in-1 sports bar and cigars. Yeah, our cigars, our whole lineup is there.
Name Rodriguez, his Frederick or something Rodriguez.
Rick Rodriguez.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, what's his name? So
Rick, Rick lives right there. We're neighbors. He's like my best friend. He lives right there.
He lives right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be on today.
Yeah, and Bert is saying to come out and do a show, but we want to thank you both for jumping on. This has been an honor and a pleasure. We really appreciate you guys jumping on. Before we end this, Red and I are going to talk about what we've got coming up, but I just want to say thank you so much. This has been an honor and a pleasure.
Yes. Our pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. And I'll have to work on those burnt ends for you, Karen. The barbecue.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we've got some good guests coming up in the next coming weeks. Next week is going to be our first actual food pairing, where we're going to be pairing with chocolate from a gentleman named Mac, and I cannot remember the name of his company off the top of my head, and I didn't put it down in my notes, but he's based out of the Northeast, and we will be on with him next week, same time, same place. Following week is going to be our Thanksgiving episode, which Red and I've got to talk about what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. So excited that we finally got Sebastian from Cavalier Cigars booked, so he's going to be on with us the following week on the 30th. And then after that, we've got E.B. Edwina, who is an ex-WNBA star. She played with the WNBA, and she has a lounge here in the DFW area called Blow and Smoke. So we've got some good shows coming up.
And I have some exciting news.
Wait, are you going to tell me, or are you going to do what you usually tell me, what you usually do, like what Karen is doing with Bruce, and tell me later, when it actually happens?
I'm going to, like how Bruce is going to call you, Graybeard's going to call me after this. So if you are in the McKinney, Plano area, I will be working on the weekends at the Cigar Lounge in McKinney and Plano. So look for posts, look for me out there, as I am working on my certification for retail tobacconist. So I am currently going through that for the Tobacco University. So I'm doing my apprenticeship at the Cigar Lounge. They have graciously agreed to accept me and take me on. So come on the weekends, and I will tell you some good stuff to smoke. So that's
make sure.
announcement.
make sure to be pushing K by Karen.
Yes, I will. I
you.
will. I will. So,
All right.
yeah, that's my big news. So,
Well, thank you, everybody. Again, thank you, Karen and Bruce. Love you both. Till we see again, Bruce. I will be back in Tampa, and I am coming to Daytona to see Don Kiki's Superstore.
More than welcome.
And until then, everybody, explore the pairings.
there's something for everyone. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.